Today is the 14th of June 2022. Today we discuss a geopolitical scenario. It is just brainstorming, it is just an imagination. It has nothing to do with reality. Let's look at NATO. NATO is a strong Western force, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is very prominent since the Second World War. Currently, we have the Ukraine-Russia situation occurring, and as we all know, in order to win a war, or even if you pretend you're just defending yourself, you're not interested in any aggression, which most countries apparently stand for, because most countries call their military arm of government the defense forces. Now, nevertheless, governments are not stupid, and they do have strategic plans. There are strategic planners in certain divisions of the government and the military and the defense forces. Now, if you have the convenience that you are attacked in a way that it does not harm you on a grand scale, but it's basically called a Pearl Harbor. If you have a Pearl Harbor situation where another country harms you in a way that you can deal with it, and that you can hit back, and that gives you legitimate operations in order to fight back or go into a wholly new agenda. Now, we were just looking at NATO. Now, imagine that Russia gives, Russia attacks any NATO member in a way that legitimizes NATO to move towards Russian territory on a military scale. This would, if we brainstorm to an extreme extent, imagine if NATO takes, because it has to, because of the Pearl Harbor occurred against it. If NATO needs to, well, it's just a crazy thought. Of course, it will never happen. But if NATO basically is forced to enter Russia, and is forced to occupy Russia, which it never wanted, but just imagine it, just for the sake of imagining, then you would have a very big Reich. You would have a very big military power spanning all over the northern hemisphere. Basically, when you reach out your hand from Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, to Russia, that would then become NATO. So basically, if you're in Alaska and you go west to the areas what is north of Japan, that would then be NATO. And then if all of Russia would become NATO, then you have the EU, you have Europe being NATO, and then you have Canada and the US being NATO, and that would then span around all of the northern hemisphere. Now that would then also, if Russia becomes NATO, then that would really single out China. That would weaken China's position, and that would bring a very interesting scenario. Of course, this is only pure brainstorming and just crazy thinking, which has nothing to do with reality. Nevertheless, today we took a little excursion around geopolitics. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.